Hey folks, Dr. Walker again. So talking about parasites. So there's a lady that called me probably now 2 weeks ago, and she has some bad things happening to her system. And one of the things that we talked about um, were parasites, and she was grossed out about the idea of having parasites in her body. And I try to convince her that, there's so many different ways that parasites enter our bodies. If you're walking outside, and you step into a pile of warm dog poo, one potential that way. If you're traveling from one country to the next, um, drinking different water from the US, from other places, foreign countries, and so forth, again, your risk of parasites increase. If you buy foods from certain places, and again, many of these folks have really good intentions in terms of cleanliness of their product and their foods and so forth, um, you run the risk of likewise having parasites in your system. Now, ostensibly, the acid in our gut should take care of most of those, but because of poor gut health for a lot of us, we don't have really good GI system because of things that we're eating and things that we're taking and so forth, to include certain medications. For example, if you have chronic reflux disease, you may be taking some pills that that is intended to prevent or to decrease the burn from reflux, and that increase the pH of the gut. And again, your gut should have strong acid in there. When it doesn't have strong acid, then lots of things get into your system that should not get into your system. So those are some ways of getting parasites in the system. And you know, some of us when we were kids used to have what we called a washout, right? And we all sort of frowned on that, but it was for a reason. And we don't, most of us we don't do that anymore. We don't have that, as though when we got old or older, the parasites stopped. They didn't. They haven't. We still have parasites. If you have itchiness, itchiness in the front as well, could be parasites. If you have chronic skin rashes, could be parasites. If you have the insatiable need, desire for sugar as well, could be parasites. If you're eating constantly and weight is just not right, you're feeding the parasites themselves. Again, all those are reasons to have parasites, and for nothing else, just to consider cleansing your system as best as you can. Um, Now, the things that we used to use when I was a kid, I haven't seen them for a while, but there are three that I've looked at recently. Uh, Wormwood is one, Black Walnut Hull is another one, and cloves. Now, cloves, I've talked about recently. Cloves is just one of those wonderful things that, a lot of us have just bypassed it growing up. It was not something that was a common thing for us to look at and to utilize. But cloves helps with relaxing, helps with focusing, helps to sleep, right? But cloves also really good for parasites. Black walnut hull as well, and wormwood. All of those you can get the raw material from Amazon for the most part, and you can make teas with that. Now, I wouldn't suggest drinking the tea every day. What some have said in the past, and you can look up based on the instructions on the packages you have, but typically you'll have where we can take off and a week and take off another week and so forth for a month or so, just to kind of help, and then you do serially beyond that point. And again, just to get some cleansing of the system, which I am all for, because parasites now have been implicated in so many different um, things. Can't say here. Um, it's just a lot, and I would suggest, and I'm about that. I'm about prevention. I'm about taking care of self. I'm about taking care of myself as best I can naturally, so that I'm not having complications from these things long term. And again, whether or not all the things that you've heard of recently, if they're not all true, I've been in medicine for 20 plus years, and some of them really make sense in terms of how parasites could become problematic for us, short term and long term, right? There are just some things that I know for a fact, right? That parasites have been implicated in. And yes, when you look at the data, it's just that. But anyway, so I digressed a little bit. But the point is, if you can, do your best to keep your gut healthy, and your best as well to decrease your risk of parasitic infections. Thanks for listening, Dr. Walker.